Your furnace blows cold air, and your air conditioner doesn't. The water seems to go everywhere you don't want it to, and your kitchen and bath haven't been remodeled since the 50s. Well, welcome to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. Kansas City has depended on Dick Ray and Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating and Cooling to solve heating, cooling, plumbing, and remodeling problems for over 50 years. All you need to do is call 576-7798. And now the Master Plumber with a degree in mechanical engineering is here to help. Here's the potentate of pipes, the Earl of Electricity, the Emperor of Air, the Imperial Poobah of Plumbing, the Grand Toileteer, the Master Plumber, Dick Ray.
And good morning. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. My voice sounds a little different than normal. I got a frog in my throat or whatever you say it. I'm recovering from, oh boy, I tell you, last New Year's Eve, I was as sick as a dog. And you're probably thinking, yeah, he was drunk or something and had a hangover. Not at all. Dawn and I were going to go out that night, but never made it. I don't know. I guess I had the flu. They said it's really bad this year, and I'll vote for that. Anyway, I feel good, but my throat's still a little bit not up to par. But anyway, I feel good, and that's the main thing. Nice weather out there, a little bit nippy, but that's good for business. So I'm not going to complain. The sun's shining, and all is good. I picked a topic, and by the way, let's go ahead and open the phone lines here and get some callers in. We're going to open the phone lines a little bit earlier if you'd like to join us. I had a topic that I wanted to start things off with, but then we're going to jump right on the phones. If you want to grab a line, right now is the time to do it. All of the lines are open. Get a line here, and we'll get to you as soon as I talk about this subject that I've picked out here. If you want to get in, now's the time to do it. All the lines are open. Our number is 576-7798. This is the one time during the show when you're guaranteed to get an open line because they're all open. 576-7798. You know, I've been in this business so long, I think sometimes that being in this business is for such a long period of time, you get a better perspective of how things have changed over the years. My father started our business back actually the year I was born, that's a long time ago. That's over 60 years ago now. So just growing up in my dad's business when he was operating and then joining him later on. I mean, you get a pretty good perspective of how things have changed over the years. And one of the things that I've noticed, and over the last 25 years, let's say, since Lennox first invented the first pulse high-efficiency furnace, both furnaces and air conditioners have been getting more efficient year by year. Well, what's more efficient mean? More efficient means they are cheaper to operate. That's it. Efficiency translates into more heat or more cooling capacity, less dollars spent on utilities. And I think that the best is yet to come. I know it is. Higher efficiency ratings, like I said, translate into one thing, lower utility bills. And I remember back in the 60s when the seer efficiency rating of an air conditioner or heat pump was generally about 6.0. And that was just normal back then. That's what the efficiency rating of pretty much all air conditioners were back then. And yet now, 40 plus years later, the very least efficient air conditioner or heat pump you can buy has a seer efficiency rating of 13. And what that means is that right now, the least efficient air conditioner you can buy today uses less than half of the electricity to run it than those old six-seer units of the 60s and 70s. And that's a good thing, of course. And, of course, the other thing that happens is they raise the price of electricity, so it really doesn't matter. But can you imagine paying today's utility prices with an air conditioner of the past that used double the electricity? Whew, that would not be good. Anyway, I'm sure air conditioners of the future will be even more efficient and use less electricity, and it's exciting to think about. And all of those years, as I was watching this going on, I kept thinking that unlike air conditioners and heat pumps, when it came to gas-fired furnaces, you can only get so efficient. And at some point, a gas furnace can't get any more efficient. I mean, you can only get so much heat out of a cubic foot of natural gas, and once you've extracted all of it, you can't get any more efficient. Modern gas furnaces are now at the point where, unlike the old furnaces, which wasted about a third or more of the heat available in natural gas up the chimney. I mean, can you imagine that back in the 60s? Or they wasted 1/3 of the heat in the natural gas up the chimneys, or more than that, some of them. But today, hey, the really good newer furnaces, they don't waste a third of the heat up the chimney. They only waste about 2% of the heat and the natural gas up the chimney. And that's a good thing. The best new furnaces really are 98% efficient and waste only 2% of the heat and the gas up the chimney, and that is amazing. A lot better than the old furnaces that were 65% efficient and wasted more than a third of the gas up the chimney. Now, although theoretically it should be possible to extract all of the heat in the gas and put that heat into your house, wasting no heat at all up the chimney, as a practical matter, I don't see that happening in the near future. Anyway, because gas furnaces are at the 98% efficiency level now, I really thought that it was practically impossible to design a more efficient gas furnace. I've thought that for quite some time. Designing a more efficient gas furnace, one that would be less expensive to operate than the 98%ers that we've had for years. But I was wrong. I forgot that furnaces don't just use gas. They also use electricity in the blower motor to move the air. And I had completely neglected to think that a more efficient blower motor could be installed in a furnace, which would allow the blower to move the same amount of air, but using less electricity. And that's exactly what's happened here in recent years. The blower motor used in most furnaces for the last 50 years is a type called a permanent split capacitor motor, or PSC, permanent split capacitor, PSC for short. And they're good motors, and they work well, been around for a long time, but they use more electricity to move the air than more modern motors of today. And the new type of motor, which is found not on all furnaces, but the new type of motor which is found on better furnaces today, it's not an AC alternating current type motor. It's a DC direct current type motor. And it's called an electrically commutated motor, or just ECM for short. And ECM motors, they've been around for a while on furnaces, but they were never real popular because they had some problems in the beginning and because they were a lot more expensive. But those days are gone. They've kind of worked the bugs out of them. The prices come down. They've been improved a lot since the early days, and the prices come down to the point that most of the gas furnaces that I sell and install have this new high-efficiency ECM motor in them. I recommend it. The ECM motor doesn't raise the initial cost of the furnace much at all, and it just saves so much money on electricity. And that's not just for furnace operation either, because keep in mind that the blower motor on your furnace, hey, it runs all summer long for air conditioning operation too, which means the electricity savings are there for air conditioner operation as well. Well, listen to this. This will make you a believer. Last week, we installed a new furnace and air conditioner for one of our customers, and the furnace that we installed had this new ECM type motor in it that used less electricity. Well, before we installed this new system, we got online to check the seer efficiency rating in the new air conditioner. We always do that. We want to be able to tell the homeowner exactly how efficient their new air conditioner is going to be. And you won't believe what the results were. I hardly believed it myself. And anyway, just for the heck of it, we checked the seer efficiency rating for two different methods of installation. For one installation, we figured the new air conditioner being installed on a furnace with the old style permanent split capacitor or PSC motor. And we figured the seer efficiency rating for the and the seer efficiency rating for the system was exactly 14.0, and that's not bad. I mean, the seer rating of 14.0 is good, actually. And then for the second installation, we got figures for installing this new air conditioner that we were getting ready to install with a similar furnace, but one with the new style ECM motor that uses less electricity. And by the way, this latter installation with the ECM powered furnace, that was the installation that we were actually going to do for this homeowner. Well, guess what the SEER rating for this new air conditioner was with the ECM motor and the furnace? I mean, we knew it would be higher than the 14.0 SEER rating with the old style PSC motor. Well, boy, it sure was. The SEER rating went from 14.0. It went up 2 full points to a SEER rating of 16.0. In other words, just because we were installing a furnace with an ECM type motor, the SEER rating jumped 2 full points from 14.0 to 16.0. And what that boils down to, I mean, this is the parts you're interested in. What that boils down to is a savings of about 12.5% for that homeowner on the entire cooling portion of their electric bills. And that's not too shabby, just for spending a few more bucks initially for a better blower motor. Well, anyway, this is something that I think that most homeowners don't even know about. SEER ratings have been talked about so much, I think everybody maybe has a kind of an understanding of that, but I bet you most people don't know about the ECM motors. I don't think they do. But anyway, it's important to know when the time comes to buy a new furnace and air conditioner because that's the kind of motor you want. You know, spend a few more bucks initially to save a lot on both your cooling and heating electric bills. Well, anyway, that's about it. Phone lines are open. Looks like, we've still got one open line. If you have any questions about this new type of ECM motor or about SEER efficiency ratings of air conditioners or furnace efficiencies or how they're calculated or about heat pumps, give me a call. Or, of course, if you have questions about really anything else, call me. Or if you have a question about some other mechanical something else mechanical in your home, or maybe you've got a do-it-yourself project that you're getting ready to get started on, or maybe you've already started on it, and maybe you'd like to have a little bit of help with it. Of course, I'll be glad to talk about that too. And keep in mind that I do the things that we talk about on this show, and I do them every day for a living, and that would include things like fixing and replacing broken air conditioners and furnaces and heat pumps and plumbing repairs, as well as complete kitchen and bath remodeling also. So if I can pass on any information to you that'll help you, I'm more than glad to do it. All you got to do is pick up the phone right now. Got one open line, 576-7798. So again, give us a call. This is the best part of the show coming up where we're going to talk about the things that you are interested in, but it requires you to pick up the phone and give us a holler. One open line, 576-7798. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. Going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to the phones.
This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing and Cooling. During our last heavy rains, I got a call from a longtime customer in a panic. His sump pump had quit, and although he was bailing water by hand, he just couldn't keep up, and the water was getting into the carpet and walls of his beautifully finished basement. I said, Jim, you really need a good battery backup system. I know, he said. Well, we replaced his pump and put in a good PHCC Pro Series battery backup system that day, but it was a little late at that point. Lots of water damage already done. You know, I see that a lot. Beautifully finished basement, sump pump, and no backup pumping system installed until the basement gets flooded. If you have a finished basement and no backup pump, you're just crazy. Don't get flooded. And when you get a backup pumping system, get the good one, the PHCC Pro Series 2400, with a microprocessor that finds problems before it's too late. It's the one you want. Call me for the details. PHCC Pro Series pumps installed by Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, the best that money can buy.
Today's retirees face multiple challenges, including volatile markets and low interest rates. Have you considered what your biggest risk may be? Hi, folks. This is Greg Hadel with the Investment Advisor Hour and Hadel Financial Advisors. Have you ever heard the saying, I have too much month at the end of my paycheck? Well, consider this. I have too much life at the end of my retirement portfolio. With the last decade taking its toll on investment and retirement portfolios, many investors are on track to run out of money. And the scariest part is, they don't even know it. For over 30 years, Hadel Financial Advisors has helped people with their retirement planning and investments. Folks, don't leave it to chance. Contact Sean and I, 913-825-2626, or join us this Sunday from 3 to 4 p.m. on KMBZ. 913-825-2626.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Woodbury Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC, and registered investment advisor. Hadel Financial Advisors and Woodbury Financial Services, Inc. are not affiliated entities.
This is Dick Ray, the master plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. 75 years ago, tile showers never leaked because they built them differently then. Today, all that's changed, and tile showers that leak through the ceiling of the room below the shower are commonplace, and fixing those leaks and rebuilding showers to a higher standard has become a huge part of my business. Often these leaky showers just get to looking like hell. Tile falling off the wall and nasty mildewed grout joints. If this sounds like your shower and you want something better, you really should stop by my showroom and see the full-size shower displays. We've got showers made of swanstone and corian and onyx and even real granite. And if my guys install it, it's guaranteed against leaks for 15 years. High-quality showers installed by Dick Ray, the master plumber, the best that money can buy.
This is KMBZ.
And we're back. Nice day out there. I'm a do-it-yourselfer too. What's a do-it-yourselfer? A do-it-yourselfer is somebody that works on projects around the house, doing things that they ordinarily don't do for a living. Well, I'm I'm building a building out of my house. A friend of mine came to visit me yesterday. Came out. I live out in the sticks. I've got 100 acres out there, and people are always wanting to come out and blast away with their guns, and so I'll let friends come out and target shoot and stuff like that. Friend came out yesterday, and he went and blasted away, and then he stopped. I was working all day on this building with a friend, trying to get as much done as possible, get the insulation in so we can get the thing warm inside. And it's a pretty good sized building. It's 50 by 100, and it's all enclosed, but it's cold inside because there's no insulation or heat or anything. And my friend says, "Well, Dick, what's this building going to be used for?" And I just looked him square in the eye and said, "It's a toy box." I think I actually all these years I've been single, and I think that one of the bad things about being single is you don't have anybody to restrain you when you want to buy a new toy, and so you just go buy it, and then you end up like me, and I don't know if that's good or bad, but anyway, I got a lot of toys. Oh, golly. Got a lot done on my project yesterday, too. Well, let me see. I'm going to shut up here. Looks like all the phone lines are lit up, so let's see if we can answer some questions here. And we're going to talk to, we'll start with Mary here. Hi, Mary. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm not sure I can explain this, but this past year, my son had a new furnace put in, and the people that installed it said he should run his blower on continuous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, then I had my furnace inspected by another company, and they told me that it just wears out your blower motor.
Wearing out your blower motor, I'm going to disagree with that. Blower motors typically last, 10 years, and so I guess it could shorten the life of the motor a little bit, but it ain't going to make much difference. Now, whether or not you run your blower motor continuous, and what you're talking about is you say you set the thermostat for 72 degrees or whatever temperature you want in the house, and normal mode of operation, the furnace and the furnace comes on in the winter, or the air conditioner comes on in the summer, and at that time the blower motor comes on, and then when the furnace or the air conditioner shuts off, the blower motor shuts off. And there's nothing wrong with doing that, but the one kind of person who might want to run the blower motor continuously, in other words, the blower motor runs 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and it's on all the time, whether the furnace or the air conditioner itself actually is on or not. And that can be a thing that helps to even out the temperatures in a house where, the biggest example of this, the most common example of a house that has temperature differences in different part of the house would be a multi-level house. And like a two-story house, it's very frequently warmer upstairs than it is down on the lower levels. And so sometimes you can help alleviate some of that problem by turning the blower motor on continuously, and kind of the idea is to take the warm upstairs air and move it downstairs and keep it all kind of mixed up better. Now in reality, if you have an upstairs in your house that's 5 degrees hotter than the downstairs in the summer, that's probably not going to cure the problem. But it sure is not going to hurt anything if you have, maybe you got a basement that's a little, chillier than the rest of the house. That's the time when I feel like it's most advantageous to run your blower motor 24 hours a day. You don't have to do it. It's not going to cost you a whole lot of money. It costs you a little bit of money extra on your electric bill.
But it doesn't hurt anything one way or the other.
No, I suppose it's going to put more hours on the motor, but it's not going to. It's not going to wear the motor out twice as fast.
I was wondering because, the person that serviced mine, when I asked him, said, "Oh, you don't want to do that." And I thought, "Oh, okay," because I never.
Okay. Now, one of the hardest parts of being a consumer, I think, is that, you talk to 3 different professionals in the air conditioning business, and they all 3 have different opinions. They all 3 tell you, give you different ideas. Oh no, you don't want to do what that other guy said. Here's what I would do, and I'm not going to say that anybody's wrong or right. Sometimes it just has a lot of times it has to do with the mindset of the person that's working on your equipment, and really, like there are some of my customers who just, most of them hopefully are people that just say, I really want an excellent heating and air conditioning system, and if they are that kind of person, then they've got the right person, me, working on it, because that's my mindset too. But it doesn't mean that I'm the right guy for everybody. I'm the guy for people that say, I know that I could get a furnace and air conditioner for less money. I know there's less expensive stuff out there, but I want Dick to do it because he's got the same mindset I do. He doesn't want the cheapest furnace or the cheapest air conditioner. He wants one, that's going to perform better, that's going to be cheaper to operate.
Yeah, well, this was a Lennox, but you didn't happen to put it in, that my son did have put in. Mm-hmm. But and that's what that person said. But then the man, that did my servicing said something different. Well, I heard it a long time ago. If you have an idea in your mind, if you can keep searching until you find somebody that agrees with you.
And then work with them forever.
I guess either that, or you were right. Whatever.
Well, the other side to that is that there are some people out there that if they learn what your opinion is, they'll just say, "Oh yeah, you're right."
Oh yes, and then you've got that person. Okay.
You know what? Hey, here's something good. This is original to me, I think, or I'll claim it. Do you know what the definition of common sense is according to Dick Ray? What's the definition of common sense?
I'm not sure what you're
Well, if you have common sense, you have common sense if you agree with me. Oh. If you don't, you're full of hooey.
Okay, I'll remember that. Okay.
Thanks for the call, Mary.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Oh, golly. That opens the line, 576-7798, and we got a break for the news, but grab that line while the news is going here, and we're going to get right back to the phones. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, 576-7798.
This is Kansas City's news, traffic, and weather station. This is KMBZ, Kansas City.
11:30 in Kansas City from the KMBZ newsroom. I'm Rob Ladd. President Bashar al-Assad is calling on Syrians to defend their country against religious extremists who he says seek to destroy Syria. In a one-hour speech to the nation, Assad dismissed any prospects of dialogue with what he called the murderous criminals behind the uprising against his rule. At the same time, he did outline his vision for a peaceful settlement to the country's civil war. Now your forecast from staff meteorologist Sally Russell.
No wet weather in the picture until maybe Wednesday night into Thursday. So sunshine with us today. Our temperatures this afternoon right around 35. Tonight remaining clear, we drop down 20 to 25 degrees. Milder weather with some southerly winds in place for Monday, a high in the middle of 40s. Tuesday and Wednesday also looking pretty with some sunshine and highs both days in the mid-40s. And that chance of rain increasing Wednesday night into Thursday. I'm staff meteorologist Sally Russell, KMBZ Weather.
Right now, it's 29 degrees at KCI, 30 at your official weather station. I'm Rob Ladd. Stay connected with 98.1 FM KMBZ and KMBZ.com.
This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. When it comes time to spruce up your kitchen or bath, if you want your new kitchen or bath to end up looking just like all your neighbors, just go down to the closest home center and choose from the same fast-moving product that home centers just love to stock. Stuff your neighbors just chose from. But if you want something different, something nicer, something not just like all your neighbors have, then you're going to have to come to a really nice, larger showroom like my Kohler registered showroom, where you can pick from a much wider variety of faucets and kitchen sinks and toilets and whirlpools and stuff like that. Really nice stuff, not just like all your neighbors have. Kohler fixtures and faucets installed by Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, the best that money can buy.
This is KMBZ.
This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber at Shawnee Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Low humidity in your home means dry, itchy skin. It also means a dry environment where bacteria and viruses thrive. It means you get sick more often. For over 40 years, I've sold only April Air humidifiers because they're the best, always have been. But now they're even better. A few years ago, April Air invented the first truly automatic humidity control system. With its outdoor temperature sensor and microprocessor, April Air makes all of the adjustments automatically on a daily basis that you used to have to make manually. The result is you can have the right humidity levels that you need for health and comfort without the daily manual adjustments you used to have to make and without over-humidifying your home. April Air, installed by Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, the best that money can buy.
This is KMBZ.
This is Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. If you're like a lot of people and just hate your toilet because it gets plugged so frequently, and if you're at the point where you're saying, I'm sick of this, I want the best flushing toilet known to mankind, then you want a Gerber Ultra Flush toilet. It still only uses 1.6 gallons of water per flush, but that 1.6 gallons of water is stored in the toilet tank under pressure, and when it's released, you've never seen a flush that powerful in anybody's home. It's really dramatic. Often people will put things down toilets and public restrooms that they wouldn't in their own homes, like rags or handy wipes or tampons. Or maybe you have a family member with large, firm stools. Whatever the reason, if you really want the most powerful flush available, you want a Gerber Ultra Flush toilet. You can see the flush in the live models in my showroom, too. Gerber Power Flush toilets installed by Dick Ray, the Master Plumber, the best that money can buy.
Opinions expressed on the following paid commercial program are those of the host and guests and do not represent the opinion of KMBZ or Entercom Kansas City.
And we're back. Nice Hey out there, love it. I'm going to go be a do-it-yourselfer after the show again too. I want to get that new toy box that I told you about earlier. I want to get my new toy box insulated so I can get it warm inside. I think as you get older, you don't like cold weather as well. Your joints are all sore anyway, and as you get older, the cold just makes it that much worse. I want to get the insulation up in this building and get some heat in there, and it'll just be a lot more fun to work in there after that. Anyway, we're going to get back to the phone lines here, and we will start with Steve in Olathe. Hi, Steve. What can I do for you?
I have a question. I have a two-story home with unfinished basement. It's probably 27 years old. My wife has always complained about, she thinks she has allergies, maybe it's dust, whatever. She has a lot more problems with, stuffy head, dryness, and such. We have a furnace and a heat pump. It's a train unit, probably 5 or 6 years old. But I was just wondering about duct cleaning. We've never had this done. I always thought, somebody getting in there, and I'm not even sure how they do it, if they beating around with brushes or whatever, if it actually creates more of a problem than what you might actually already have.
My thoughts about duct cleaning, there's one time when I say absolutely you want to clean your ducts, and that is a time when, and this isn't for most people, this is for somebody that lives in a really, really old house. I'm talking about a house that's close to 100 years old or more than that. And that would be a house that has a gravity furnace on it. And a gravity furnace is a furnace that doesn't have a blower on it. And if you still have a gravity furnace in your house, number one, that would mean that your furnace is, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old. And so your new furnace is not going to be a gravity furnace. It's going to have a blower on it. And for the first time, all of that ductwork is going to have a furnace hooked up to it that's got a blower to move the air through the ducts. And at a time like that, if you don't have the ducts clean, you're crazy, because what will happen is first time you turn that new furnace and air conditioner on, the blower motor is going to blow stuff out of there that has been in there for 100 years, and the only reason it didn't blow out before was because there never was a blower on the duct system. So that's the one time when you definitely want to do duct cleaning. Now, yours is a 27-year-old house, not that old, and you're wanting your wife has allergies, symptoms, and stuff like that, and so she's concerned about the cleanliness of the air. And my thoughts about that have always been, I'm sure that if you were to run a video inspection camera through your old ducts and see what's in there, you would say, oh my God, look at that. We definitely got to get that clean. There's probably going to be dust bunnies and all kinds of things in there. Construction trash, Schlitz beer can from 27 years ago when the construction worker threw its beer can down inside of the ductwork. There's probably all kinds of nasty stuff down in there. But the thing that makes me feel like it's not very important is that stuff that's been in there. The stuff that your wife should be concerned about is the stuff that's floating around in the air that she is breathing. The stuff that's down in your ductwork is the heavier stuff that is not lightweight enough to get picked up by the blower motor and distributed and blown out of the ductwork. And so I say, if you want to eliminate allergy systems, what you need is a really good, high-quality filter that will take out the smaller particles from the air. Now, you've got a filter on your furnace, and I'm assuming that you've got just a standard old filter. The filter that comes on most furnaces is designed to protect the furnace, and basically it takes the bowling balls and the golf balls, and that's an exaggeration, but basically it takes the lint and the big pieces of dust out of the airflow, and it doesn't get rid of the things like pollen and cigarette smoke and the things that would affect your wife's allergies. Well, what you need to do is get rid of the filter that is protecting the furnace by getting rid of the big particles and replace that filter with a new filter that will get rid of not only the big stuff to protect the furnace, but also get rid of the little things like pollen and things like that. And the filter that's on your furnace, if it's the original filter that was on there for the last 27 years, it's probably not that type of filter. It's probably just a $2 filter that you throw away and go buy a new one at the grocery store type filter. And those aren't going to filter out what you want. You see, you want to filter out the things that cause hay fever and allergies and stuff like that. The things that cause that are itty-bitty little tiny particles. And so you want a filter that will get rid of those things in the airflow. And the best filter on the market, I think, it's the one that I have in my own house, and we've got a couple of them on our heating and cooling systems at work. It is a Honeywell electronic air filter, and it actually removes cigarette smoke, which is one of the smallest particles. But anyway, that's a long answer to a pretty short question. Does that make sense?
Well, actually, the filtering system on it now is actually kind of a three-tier filter. It's got what I'll call the main filter is two boxes. They look like a honeycomb construction.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's got a more of a perforated, not foam, but more like a door screen type filter in front of that. And then another one that's I think it has some type of electrical discharge or something like this filter. And the house does seem to get dusty pretty easily. Of course, we live out on a little bit of acreage, and there's always quite a bit of construction and such. But is there any thought? Is there people you recommend come in just to, I guess, do a study on the house, see if you have molds or things like this? How can you determine that? I guess
that I don't know the answer to. Okay. I don't know, but it sounds like you've got a pretty good filter right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, one of the things that I always tell people, you said, yeah, we still have to do a lot of dusting, and dust that goes through a good filter will be removed. And the problem is that the big, heavier pieces of dust that are so heavy that they settle on the tabletop before they get sucked into a return duct, they're never going to be able to be filtered out. So you're always gonna have to dust.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your assistance, and I have another question. Years and years ago, your dad and you had an airplane. You still have one?
I do. And my dad and I, that was back. I bought that. It's a 1976 Grumman Cheetah, little four-seater, and I bought it in 1980. And I still have it, and I haven't flown it for over 5 years, but I think it's kind of like riding a bicycle, or I hope it is. Cause
we all hope for that, don't we?
Yeah. I've told my girlfriend Dawn about it, and explained, I haven't flown in 5, 6, 7 years, but I'm pretty sure I still remember most of that stuff. You want to go flying? And she says, sure. So.
Okay. Well, thanks again.
You bet. Thanks for the call. I hope it's like riding a bicycle. Because I am going to start flying it again, although I've said that for a few months now. Oh, that opens the line, 576-7798, 576-7798. It's often difficult to get an open line during this show, usually is, especially when the weather's nasty outside. Nothing else to do, huh? And with that in mind, I always say this during every show about this time. And what I'm getting ready to do is give you an invitation to call me really anytime you want, anytime during the week. We invite calls during this show, of course, but this show's only one time a week for 1 hour a week. And if you got something that'll wait till the show, that's okay. But if a lot of things just won't wait. And so what I'm giving you is an invitation, and it's a very sincere invitation for you to call me anytime during the week, not just during this show if you need a little free advice on a project you're working on. You don't need to feel like you're imposing on me. You don't have to apologize when you call me. You can call me after 5 o'clock at night. You can call me on Saturday. You can call me on Sunday. And I really don't mind. I'm serious about this. Nobody believes that. They say, Dick, how can you take calls at 7 o'clock at night and not be mad? But I'm not. So don't quit apologizing. And, also, in all honesty, I'd have to admit that a lot of the calls that I do get are from some listener to the show that just wants me to come out and do whatever the work is for them. They either don't want to give up their free time, or they don't have the time, or they don't want to mess around with it for some reason, so they'll call me and say, hey, Dick, come on out and take care of this for me. And, of course, I love that because that's how I make my living. But I'm being completely sincere when I say that I absolutely don't mind you calling, even if all you want to do is talk about a do-it-yourself project that you're working on. Get some free advice on that. I will do my best to help you. I'm very easy to get in touch with because my normal business phone rings straight to my cell phone after normal business hours. So really, all you have to do is remember one number. I'm going to give it to you here so you can jot it down for future reference. Put me in do people still use Post-it notes on refrigerators? Probably not with computers. But anyway, I don't know what you put me in your in your computer or your cell phone under. But anyway, my number for emergencies or for free advice, put it under free advice, 913-888-0550. I'm very sincere in this offer. I wouldn't make it if I didn't welcome the calls, and I'll do my best to help you out. I give out a lot of free advice and information to a lot of people, and I do it willingly. So once again, don't hesitate to call. The number is 913-888-0550. And we've got one open line here if you'd like to grab it. We're going to get back to the phones. Our number is 576-7798. And we will start with Wally here. Hi, Wally. What can I do for you?
Hi, Dick. Appreciate your show. I got a couple questions to ask you.
Okay.
First of all, I live in a 2,000-square-foot house on one floor. We have a walkout basement on a lake. And when we get up in the morning, it takes forever to get cold water in the kitchen. And the furnace and hot water tank is kind of in the middle of the house. And it's been that way for, we've lived here 37 years.
Yeah.
And is there any way, I do have a chase from the hot water tank to the kitchen. Is there any way that we can put a circulating pump or something on that so that we don't have to run water until it gets hot?
Yeah, there is. And, I planned my dream house for years and years and years. Heck, I hired the architect, and he came out and looked at the site and drew the plans, and I thought about it for another 10 or 15 years after that, and I finally built it, and this is my dream house. Everything's going to be perfect, and I moved into the house, and I had exactly the same problem in my kitchen that you're describing. I'm thinking about, oh my God, my friends come over to my house for a party, and they're going to go into the kitchen to wash their hands, and Dick Ray's a plumber, and he doesn't have hot water in his kitchen. What's going on here? Anyway, I did at my house what you can do at yours, and it's really not that difficult. It involves the installation of a little circulating pump that's designed specifically for that purpose. And we install that on the outlet of the water heater, and its job is to push a tiny amount of water through the hot water line all the time. And it uses almost no electricity. It lasts a long time. I've had mine in my house for 15 years, and it's still working.
Do you have to have a return line, or you use the hot water line as a return line?
Well, you're pushing hot water out through the hot water line, and this is the slick part. The slick part is, in the old days, you used to have a return line. You used to have to install another return line in a house that's already built with a finished basement. That was a tough thing. I know you said you've got a chase, so you could install a return line, but it's easier than that now. And I wish I'd been the guy that thought of this idea. I'd be rich. I wouldn't be a plumber anymore. I'd be down in the Bahamas somewhere, resting on a beach. But anyway, what somebody came up with is a thermally actuated bypass, and this is installed in your house or mine, right underneath the kitchen sink, and it's a thermally actuated bypass that provides a bypass or a crossover between the hot and cold water lines. And when the bypass is cold, it's open, but when it heats up, then it closes. And so it allows the pump to push the cold water out of the hot water line, but as soon as the bypass senses that the hot water has got there, it closes, and so it doesn't fill your cold water line with hot water. And
so you're using the cold water line in conjunction with the hot water line.
Yeah, and it's pretty. Is
that
not
pretty expensive, you think? Or
golly, I don't know the price off the top of my head. It's under $1,000 for the system and installation. I do know that.
And I got one more quick question, and I have in my kitchen, we remodeled our kitchen, and I installed a Moen Velocity faucet.
Okay.
It's a single-handle faucet. I think I paid about $600 for it.
Wow.
And it worked all right for a while, but now when I turn on the hot water, it's about half the volume that it is if it's on cold water.
Okay.
So I've called the Moen people, and they've sent me some parts, and I put it in, and it works maybe a day or two, and then the hot water is real slow to come out versus the cold water.
So it's essentially the same problem?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so it cured it for a while, but it didn't last very long?
Yeah.
Oh, golly, I would think that would be a problem in the cartridge, number one. And but the other thing is, it may not even be in the faucet. It may be in the shutoff valve right underneath the kitchen sink. It may be a restriction in the hot water side cutoff valve. At that point, the pipe size reduces from 1/2 inch inside diameter to 1/4 inside diameter, and it's a real common problem to get a restriction inside of that valve.
Well, the dishwashers run off that same line, and it doesn't have any problem.
But the dishwasher's not on the same line. There might be a T in the supply tube going up to the faucet.
I see, but it would be ahead of the shutoff valve.
Yeah. It depends on how it's piped. I'm just saying that very, very frequently the problem's in the shutoff valve, not the faucet.
I see. Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, that'd be another
I
thing.
know when I put the part in, without doing anything to the shutoff valve, it works for a couple of days, and then it just quits working again. Very frustrating. I've called these people. I had a Kohler that I had problem with, and they kept sending me parts, and finally I talked to the supervisor or whatever, and well, you've put a lot of parts in this thing. I said, yeah, I know. I don't know what I'd do if I had to hire a plumber. So they sent me a whole new faucet, and it worked perfect.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say, too. I bet you Moen will do the same thing, too. If you call them back and say, hey, guys, I did what you told me to do, and got the same problem. Moen is a good company. Kohler and Moen both are good companies. We sell more of their faucets than any of the other brands.
Okay, I appreciate your advice on the hot water, and of course, you can run a lot of water for $1,000, but
it's as much as anything, I think it's the aggravation.
Yeah.
Just it's not that long, but it seems like it's 15 minutes.
Well, I want to tell you, I sure enjoy your show. I'm kind of a handyman guy, and do a lot of projects at home, and I tune into you and listen to you every week.
Okay. Well, if you ever get in a jam, you give me a holler, and I'll try and help you out, Wally.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All righty. That opens the line. Actually, got a couple open lines now. 576-7798. And we're going to talk to Jim and Shawnee. Hi, Jim. What can I do for you?
Hi, I have a couple questions for you. We have an 18-year-old house, and we had a board blow out on our furnace, so we're going to go ahead and replace it, I think.
Yeah.
And we're only going to be in the house for probably 5 more years. And do you think it's worth us spending a little extra for one of the furnaces with the ECM motors, and generally speaking, how many $100 more would one of those be versus a 80 seer or 80% efficient furnace that didn't have one of those?
Oh, how long are you going to be in the house?
Like 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. To me, I think the more important question is, should I be putting in a 90% efficient furnace or should I be putting in an 80%? If you're going to spend some extra money and you're going to be in the house 4 or 5 years, I mean, you're going to save a lot more money on the 90% versus 80%, or actually it's going to be 95% versus 80% than you are on the ECM motor. I think it would be a mistake to put in an 80% furnace, frankly. I'd put in the 95% efficient furnace. And the ECM motor, to answer your question about that, how much more does it cost? I don't know for sure, but I think it's just $100 extra for the ECM motor.
Yeah. Well, I guess we just figured since we're not going to be here for the real long time that we wouldn't want to spend the extra to have the 90 or 95%.
Yeah, but here's something else to think about. And that is the May 1st, which is that's like 4 months from now or 5 months, something like that. Anyway, 5 months from now, a new federal law is going into effect that says in Kansas and Missouri, you shall not put in an 80% efficient furnace. It's got to be 95%. And so that means that 80% efficient furnaces in this part of the country are going to become, people are going to be looking down their nose at them, And so that means when it comes time to sell your house 4 or 5 years from now, when this law has been in effect 4 or 5 years, people are going to be looking at your furnace saying, oh, yeah, he's got one of those old-fashioned jobs. Even though it's only 4 years old, they're going to be saying that. So my advice is put in the 95%er. It'll make it easier to sell your house, if nothing else. And for the 4 or 5 years that you're in your house, you'll save some pretty good money on gas bills too. And if you're like me, sometimes that 4 or 5 years turns into 5 or 10. Who knows? Anyway, appreciate the call, Jim.
All right, thank you very much.
Bye-bye. All righty, that opens the line. Let's see, I better shut up and keep moving here. Let's see, we got Nelson in Gladstone. Hi, Nelson. Looks like you're going to give me advice.
It looks like it. But before we get into that, I'd like to thank you for taking the call, and I'd also like to thank you for that outside telephone call that we had about the standby generator that my wife has been nagging me about.
Oh, okay.
We got a kind of a setback on that with that storm up there in the Northeast. A whole bunch of people all of a sudden decided they ought to be doing something like that themselves. So
yeah.
It took them a while to scrounge up some bits and pieces, but they're the company that you advised is, which is Teague
Electric. Yeah,
is going to start the project probably tomorrow or the next day or sometime early in the week.
Oh, in Gladstone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know who you are. You don't know it, but I'm going to be the guy putting in the gas line on that.
Well, very good.
Have you been talking to Jimmy at Teague? Because Jimmy, it's in Gladstone. Yeah, it's got to be
Well,
you.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow.
So that was part of our conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Anyhow, a big thank you, and maybe I'll get to meet you tomorrow or whenever.
Well, yeah, I won't be out there myself, but
that's
I'll get
fine.
a good guy out there.
Are out here. Well, the thing is the house had a little gas grill outside on the old patio, but all that stuff is gone now, and we got a plant room in there.
Yeah.
And there is a line that runs into the house under the main floor that connects to the main line that I shut the valve off, and I capped the line outside with, and I hope they can utilize that line if it's big enough for the supply need of the generator.
Oh, really? Now, okay. Hey, I'm out of time here. I've got to. Robert's going to unplug me if I don't hang up on you here. Anyway, we'll talk about that later on. How's that? Okay, doke?
Okay, shall I stay on the line?
Yeah, stay on the line. I'll put you on hold. You're listening to the Home Improvement Hour with Dick Ray, the Master Plumber. We're out of time here. We'll be back next Sunday from 11 to noon. Sally and Chris and Nelson, hang on. I'll talk to you off the air and hopefully answer your questions. See you next Sunday.
This is Kansas.